According to OBS, we're live. I don't know how true that is, but according to
There
OBS.
we go. Now it says on Twitch Zone is stream.
Okay.
Let me let's send this link out. There we go.
Yeah, and let me
Watch now. Let's see this work.
Watch. Okay. So the next question is, am I live on YouTube? Oh, that's weird. It doesn't seem like it's working on. It says streaming. Okay, maybe we are, and it's just not showing yet. Hello, everybody. it's been a while since we've been live. Or I've been live. I don't. Have you been on? I'm assuming you've just been on other people's channels. Like other people got.
I've been on other channels and
stuff. Yeah. Talking about ashes and stuff.
Yes, sir. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Dog Morrison's got left.
Set up too.
Yeah. It's been one of them deals where a lot of things were happening in my life right as Alpha 2 started. And while some of it has calmed down, some of it has gotten worse. And we just haven't had the time for this. And then we thought, yeah, let's go live now that there's nobody that can play Ashes.
John and I's relationship was discovered by his wife, and things have been very rocky with them. So it's been really tough.
Yep. Yeah, it's been very, very tough. She's not happy about it at all, but what can I do about that? So Burns lives for other channels. He's a channel hoe.
Only live. I'm a live channel. I mean, I still make my videos, but
you do
like going live. Nah, that's just not my. It's not what I do. I don't plan to ever stream. I was playing with my friends recently, and we had a very not stream friendly conversation. And afterwards, someone was just like, "You know what? You should never stream, Burns." And I said, "You're absolutely right. I should never stream."
You should never stream. So yeah, no, I definitely have had the conversations in my Discord with my guild that I'm like, I don't know. But I have figured, I can get it when my Discord is turned down real low so that the chat can't hear Discord. But then that makes me kind of sad because they're really missing out on the show. The real show is the Discord. Who cares about what I'm saying? It's what's being said in the Discord. So,
if you guys know Zyback, he farms my friends and I for content. His shorts are, he'll pop into our Discord, he'll catch some snippet of a conversation, he'll make a short about that, and then he'll ditch. Like that is Zyback shorts. If you watch any of those,
that's funny. That's actually hilarious.
He farms us.
I tell you what, he cracked me up in one of his last videos. Like I was doubled over, like laughing my ass off when he was talking about Narc and his stupidity and all his nonsense about FOMO or whatever. And he was like, let's say Steven did make all his money in a pyramid scheme, like whatever. He goes, if we found out right now that the entire Nazi regime, Hitler and all them guys survived World War II, have been living in Argentina all this time, and a decade ago, they started a video game studio and they're releasing a brand new MMO released by the Nazi party, your first question would be like, is the combat good? And I was laughing so hard. Go ahead.
We are desperate. I am so grateful to be finally playing Ashes because we've been waiting a long time for a good MMO. And bro, I don't know about you, but I think we not just because we make content for it, but I think we actually have our hands on a good one.
I do too. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. I want to get, we've barely gotten to speak since phase 2 started. And so I don't know what class you're playing. Are you still with the same guild you were with? How are you guys doing as a guild? How is Vira? Cause I've heard absolute horror stories about Vira. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, man. Just give me the Cliff Notes version of your experiences in Alpha 2 so far.
So right before phase 2 started, I rolled a fighter on Vira because the 1v1 tournament was happening on Vira, and so some of my guildmates rolled over there. And then they got attacked by Jamie Chaos. My level 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 guildmates ended up spawn camping the Chaos Cartel. I know that's inflammatory. I know it was just my guild, though. It really was. That's and it was the whole cries of, hey, they're spawn camping us, and then the whole Care Bear server of Vira. I mean, Vira was the softest of soft before Ethereum got there. I mean, it's like it. If highly recommend you guys watch Loreforge talk about it. They have an awesome perspective. All three of them talk about it. They're just hilarious guys, just super fun to hear. And Vira was just this wonderland where everyone got along. We show up, the streets are full of caravans, just full, and we're all looking around. Is that a caravan? It's like 9 p.m. right now. Why is a caravan being run? And so we just started attacking caravans, and like we were leveling, and I mean, apparently we ruined the server, which there's an argument to be made. Anyways, so I rolled a fighter just because my guild leader at the time said, hey, pick a different class than what you were rolling previously. You're going to need to learn all the classes. I said, yeah, good idea. So I picked a fighter, and then I didn't really get to use it to its full potential. So I rolled a fighter again for phase 2.
Okay.
And it's been good and bad. I think the fighter is the weakest class. I mean, this is my, so a second time I've leveled a fighter to 25, and then I had a cleric before. Fighter is a weak class. It's good in small scale PvP. It's horrible in large scale PvP. It just can't hold a candle. The meta is so ranged right now, and if you get any more than like 12v12, the meta is just this disgusting range, and there's nothing any melee class can do about it. The best tanks in the game feel useless in large scale PvP. A bunch of the other fighters feel the exact same way. I mean, it's fun to RP and stuff, but right now there's such an advantage to being ranged that it doesn't. You are a fighter is a ranger with melee abilities. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And you jump in, you get deleted. I mean, you are not a warrior. You are a bad rogue with some good mobility. Is what fighter is right now. But anyways, yeah. So I'll play him fighter. Alec had to take off, and there was all that drama. Everyone saw that. So some of the leadership from EPH started a new guild. Although Tanner is now the guild leader, he was new to EPH. He's a great guild leader. So it's not really EPH. I think we actually have more old school EPH people than we do EPH. So it's an interesting combination of people. My group of friends is in there. We have a blast. I've made several new friends. A few of them are content creators and stuff. Oni, I don't know if he's made a few videos. Great dude. But I got Magic Pipe Snacks. There's a bunch of people that I've been playing with for a long time that I have with me. So we've carved out a great spot. We heard about a lot of the toxicity on Vira, and we've experienced some of it, but at the same time, we are very sweaty. My group, we all hit 25, I think on the 3rd or 4th day the server was live. And a lot of people are like, whoa, these are exploiters. No, we're just sweaty. We try very, very hard, and we worked. I mean, we were doing 14-hour days, so it's doable even when the servers suck and they're not registering all your damage. Doable. So since then we've been there is like a Polar is probably the main group who really was the toxic people. They spawn camped nice, and I see Elson chat. What up, bro? They declared a war on Syndicate, and they just spawn camped them over and over. They're a much bigger guild than Syndicate is. Syndicate's going for small but potent,
Yeah.
and they just spawn camped them. Polar has done a bunch of other things like that. They send nasty messages to people in game, out of game. So we saw Rapid MTK, which is a guild mate of mine. He's like, "Hey Burns, I think there are some Polar caravans I saw heading over by Miraleth." And so I ran over, confirmed, messaged a bunch of guys, and we just wiped the floor with them, destroyed all 7 caravans of theirs, and really hasn't been too much since then. There was some PvP the other night. It was Envious, Polar, and one other guild that we fought against. We were outnumbered. We smoked them. It was great. So there has been toxicity on the server. Dynasty, there are a few guys in the Dynasty guild that just say the dumbest things. But other than that, I mean, if you are concerned about toxicity, like, you got to level, you got to get geared, and then you can start to stomp some faces.
You could,
so
yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is to it. Either be a sheep or a wolf, and it's one of the reasons why I really like my guild is because there we go, black tie trading. That's what it was. That was the other one that was fighting with Polar and Envious. So I'm grateful for my guild. We practice PvP constantly. We do scrimmages. We do against ourselves and then against other guilds. My guild has been a great place, even though phase 2 has been rocky at points, but that's been my story of phase 2.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you're watching the video here at all, you'll see that I rolled a tank to start phase 2. I got up to level 18 with my tank within like 2 days, 3 days, and then like a week later, I was still level 18, and I'm at work and I'm doing my job, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I still level 18? Why do I love this game? And like, I want to log in, but I don't want to log in. And like, it took a little while for me to like arrive at the conclusion. I don't fucking like my class. Like, I don't like tank very much. It's not fun. I loved the crap out of my fighter. So I have since, I still have the tank because he's a journeyman animal husbandress. So we spent a lot of money getting to journeyman animal husbandry. So we're not going to delete the tank, but I made a fighter, and he's level 20 something now, and I'm not really concerned about leveling past like I'm gonna do it, but I'm not like hardcore trying to level. Because as you pointed out backstage a few minutes ago, like trying to run a guild, I have a lot of other things that I'm focused on, and for me, the story of phase 2 has been my guild. I had a conversation with you like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, however long it was, and was asking you about your guild plans, and was like thinking maybe you and I could do some guild stuff since we like-minded in a lot of ways. And that's when you told me you were the sweatiest of the sweaties. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be that sweaty. And so that didn't happen. But things went along, and I ended up making my own guild for Ashes. And a lot of ways, it was been pointed out to me, it's kind of a streamer guild. Ignoring the fact that I don't really stream Ashes right now. But the reality is I made a video on YouTube and was like, hey, I'm making a guild, and if you want to join it, come join. And that's how I got my initial like 35 or 40 members. And so it's not like a bunch of my friends, a bunch of people who have bonds together, who've been in the trenches together. It was a bunch of random people. And so I will admit that my expectations going into phase 1 were not high. With how that I was hopeful, but I wasn't like really thinking this was going to work out. However, it could not possibly have gone better. Phase 1 went really well. We established some hierarchy and some structure within the guild. We started to establish some departments within the guild and finding leaders and that sort of thing. And then once we found out that we were going to get a wipe at phase 2, we still played, but we spent a lot of time like really coming up with what we were going to do with phase 2, how we were going to handle phase 2, what type of guild we want to be, and all that stuff. And we we didn't make a charter necessarily, but we kind of set expectations. And then we got into phase 2, and we have far exceeded the expectations that we put out for ourselves. We've made a name for ourselves. People on our server, for the most part, know who we are, even though we might have like 75 members. Maybe we've grown quite a bit. A lot of people are dropping their guilds and joining ours. We have multiple applications.
Where are people coming from?
We have multiple applications in right now from people who are in the other major guilds on our server. Okay. Like we joined this guild and we thought they were going to be fun, and yeah, they're organized, and yeah, they have 350 members, but they only ever have like 25 or 30 on. You guys have 75 members and you have 40 on all the time. Like, so people, a lot of that is going on. So yes, we've far exceeded our the expectations or what I thought we could accomplish for phase 2, and we've grown that reputation. We've gotten really good. It's so funny. Like, it's funny to be proud of this, but it's just part of the game. We've gotten really good at strong arming people out of grind spots.
How? What do you do?
Out DPS them.
Yeah.
We just go in there and we just have more DPS than you because we have more quality players than you do, and we DPS everything you try to kill. We take all your kills, and after 15 minutes of that, you're like, well, we haven't gotten a single bit of experience in 15 minutes. We should just leave, and then they leave. So like the sewers underneath Steel Bloom, we're like 15 for 15 for kicking people out of there. Nice. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that, and we've started getting into number one, very heavy caravan defense. If somebody says somebody's attacking my caravan, we rally the troops and defend. And we started getting into caravan attacking. We haven't gone hard into that yet, but that's coming up next. That's one of the things that kind of sucks about the fact that I waited so long to start the guild, is there's a whole lot of facets of the guild we're having to build now live instead of having it all set up ahead of time. But I don't think you could have set it up ahead of time, at least not fully, because we didn't know what to expect and what we were going to get. But so we're in the process of putting together those things for caravan attack, and we're also getting ready to start doing some raiding, killing Tumok and Firebrand and stuff. We're right on the verge of doing those things. Those are things that the giant guilds have already been doing, but we're not one of the giant guilds. And we're also in the process of putting together an alliance that's going to be pretty beneficial with some other guilds who are about our size, and if we get 6 or 7 of those in one alliance, then we'll be a force.
Cool.
So, phase 2 has been fun. I love the fighter. I agree with you. It's the weakest class. I think that Intrepid doesn't understand. I don't know. They got to understand it. I don't know why, but it's clear that they are not doing it. Your melee classes have to do more DPS than range classes.
Yep.
They have to do more DPS than range classes. They just have to. So
I hate to be that guy, but if there aren't changes to the fighter, I might just roll a bard, because that's what Intrepid is pushing everyone to do.
Right.
Bards do insane amounts of damage. Well, also, I'm a little bit positively skewed toward it because my friend Magic Pipe is an awesome bard. So, I mean, I do have a little bit of a selection bias that way, but like, I understand the potential of the class, and the potential is nuts. And I mean, I've seen we've got CC My Life as our fighter class lead, and he is an amazing fighter, and seeing what he's able to do there. The problem is there's a high skill floor for the fighter, but there's a low
ceiling.
There's a low potential ceiling
right
now.
Yes.
I mean, you can do there's a lot of difference in between the two in terms of like skill and effort, but the problem is it's a low effectiveness ceiling, I should say. No matter how good you are at it, if you dive the back line, they will turn and delete you.
Yes.
No matter what. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you dive in there and you blow all your cooldowns and stuff, that's great, but it would have been better if you had been a mage and you had sat back and you had thrown your lightning ball, you had thrown lightning strike, all your stuff from range, because that does more damage than the fighter does up close and personal.
Right.
So I might have to roll maybe when the rogue comes out, who knows, maybe I roll a roll a bard and I level a bard with all the it'll be me and seven
Yes.
rogues. But yeah, it is it is interesting how they're doing it right now. And this isn't the balance phase, obviously. I think
Right.
everyone that plays fighter right now plays it because they like some aspects of it
Hmm.
and they hope that it will get balanced in the future. Is that the case with you?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really, really enjoy the way they've built the class. So, so an example is the MAME ability, which does
I
50%
love
more.
that.
Yeah, which does 50% more damage to recently tripped targets.
Mm-hmm,
Well,
mm-hmm.
when you're in form of celerity, your
Yep.
overpower and brutal cleave cause stagger, and then you can use cataclysm, which changes stagger to tripped, or you can just use your I forget what it's called, but the
Kick.
trip ability kick. You can use your
I
kick.
just call it kick,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
So depending on whether you're doing it to one target or multiple targets, because you can go into a group of targets, hit your brutal cleave, stagger them all, hit cataclysm, trip them all, and then hit maim and do 50% more damage on top of maim's already really high damage to all of them. Hit a whirlwind and you mop it, you clean it up, the whole group of them. So I like the way that it's built. I like the abilities. I think Leaf Strike needs some improvement in the way that it works. Like it doesn't see
Oh,
it doesn't. I haven't found it to fire off in a way that makes me feel like I can accurately end up where somebody's gonna be.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Because it takes a sec, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you take a sec and then leap up, and then when you land, yeah, it's not instant. That's for sure. It's not like Blitz.
Right. No, it's not like Blitz at all. So yeah, but I really, really enjoy just the class overall. I like spin to win, the whirlwind, and especially the spin to win with the blood fusion, and getting your
Yeah,
health and
right.
mana back and stuff. And from a PvE perspective, I think the fighter's awesome. I do amazing in
Yep.
PvE.
Yep.
And fighters are really good for groups because of that mass trip. Like every time you bring in a new horde of enemies to take out, you can trip them all, and like you take that damage spike down a lot, like especially if you know what you're doing and stuff. So I'm really enjoying the fighter a lot, and yes, it is a lot of my continuing to play it is in hopes that later on they're going to do more. Like you said, it's not the balance phase. Although they are doing some balance. You saw the mates changes from yesterday, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So they are doing some
Pe-
balance.
people are asking to turn me up. I mean,
I've turned
hey,
you up, but
that's
I'll do it
that's
again. I can turn you up again. That's fine. Um,
but yeah, I did see the mage nerfs, and I mean, it's step in the right direction, but still, I think the problem remains that the meta is just too ranged. It's the melee doesn't slap nearly the way it should, and I've said that in old videos, and
yeah.
I think it just if you're gonna balance the two, right, because you have at range you can just kite, you just back up, you just
Yeah.
as the melee comes at you, so every ranged hit needs to do significantly less damage than a melee strike does. But I mean, whatever, we got plenty of time to balance it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not losing my mind about it. I do want to learn the other classes, so I'll probably maybe bard next. We'll see how that goes.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna do a ranger next. No, I'm gonna do a mage next. I'm gonna do a mage next.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll probably do a ranger. And then it occurred to me the other day that when phase 3 starts, I'm gonna have to restart my fighter because I want to be a Renkai.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going to re-level
Yeah.
my fighter.
Yes.
But that's just part of it. That's much better. Okay, good. Thank you, Penumbra. Appreciate
Cool.
you.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, that's pretty much where I am. I definitely think that the augments could make huge
Yeah.
changes and effects.
Yep.
So who knows what that's going to do? But yeah, in
Oh.
general, they need to turn up melee. I would say both damage and survivability, because even if you hit hard, if you get in the fray and you die almost instantly, like what's the point of that? And even tanks are in that same boat. Tanks are weird. I don't think they have the survivability that is required for a melee class in a 250 versus 250 brawl.
Yeah. Right. With node sieges coming online some in the near future. I mean, that's going to be a tested fairly soon. Destructible nodes. Steven was talking about it on a recent live stream. So we're going to get a lot of, because right now I don't think too many people are doing a lot of large scale PvP. So I don't think it's really a common problem yet. But when we start to see these node sieges, I think it's going to get very obvious very quickly when all the fighters are jumping in and just getting deleted, because that's just what happens.
Yeah, it's just what happens.
It's a ranger with melee abilities right now. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy situation, but you know, they're working on it. They're working on a whole lot of things. And so give me the burns. This is what we should work on next.
Servers. So they doubled the number of server workers, but what they didn't do was do server gridding, right? So the
dynamic meshing,
where they add more like mobile servers that will move to where the people are, right? And so that needs to the server performance. So the game actually performs well. Like we do large scale PvP, you know, 80, 100, 150 plus fighting at a time. The player draw distance right now, they're cheating with it. Or they're cheating with server performance because the player draw distance is so short. I mean, I swear, 35 meters, right? The blitz distance is 30 meters. Yeah. So someone pops in 5 meters out of blitz distance. Like, it could be a gigantic army that's 40 meters away from you, and you have no idea.
Yes.
In fact, we were doing a scrim the other night. Half of my other my guildies that were on the other team circled around behind us, and they were just toying with the draw distance. And they did that, and it worked really well because they could just conceal themselves with this draw distance. They had a feeling of where we were, and so they maneuvered, and they just like appeared behind us all of a sudden and just deleted our backline. So that was interesting to see. So they need to player draw distance is with node sieges. If you can't see where the enemy is, how are you supposed to defend your node? Right? Like this stuff has to be like number 1, 2, and 3. And then it also means long-term moving forward. It's a really good prognostic indicator if they solve this where the player draw distance is really far and performance still stays high. Like that would be awesome. So that's what I think. How about you?
Servers is probably pretty high on the list, although the difference between like the start of phase 1 and now is pretty substantial. Like, I mean, you got to think about Highwayman Hills was a crash fest. Like everybody knew that if you didn't want to crash every 30 minutes, stay out of the Highwayman Hills server worker. And now you go to Highwayman Hills and there's like 300 people in there trying to, and it never crashes. And it doesn't turn into a slideshow. Like it works perfectly fine. So from that perspective, the servers are better, but I mean, I also understand that they more or less have told us that it's the servers are what's going to have to be, next in order for them to move on to other things.
Yes.
Right. So if I'm ignoring that, if I'm saying what would I like to see fixed next, I would like to see the story arcs and questing system where questing is actually worth it. I like the get together with a group of people and y'all go somewhere and you pull a bunch of mobs and you grind and you grind and you grind and you're trying to like as efficiently as possible kill as many high level things as possible, you know, as fast as you can. I mean, like that part of it that appeals to me. But number one, I know it doesn't appeal to everyone, so you're limiting how much people want to play. But also when you start talking about second and third and fourth characters, you start going, oh my God, I got to do Highwayman Hills from 8 to 14 again. And then I got to do Cephalion from 14 to 20 again. And level 20 is the worst because everybody is looking for 16 to 19 for Cephalion or 21 plus for Carfin. And if you're level 20, you're just like, nobody loves you. So I would like to see some of that, not necessarily for me, although I would definitely use it, but to like get. I know people who are like, I just can't grind anymore. I just can't. I've done it. I grinded in pre-alpha 2, then I grinded in phase 1, and now I'm grinding again. And who knows if we're going to get wiped and have to grind again. I mean, they said they're not, and so I trust them, and I hope that they're not going to. But so yeah, I would like to see some other alternative means of leveling, even if it was only half your level, even if you could only quest half of every level, and then you had to go grind half. That would be a big improvement over what we have now, because right now quests are like 100% not worth it. There's nothing about questing that has any value whatsoever. With the exception of the sweat of your brow and the I can't remember the name of it, but the one where you gather the stuff on the side of the road and it gives you some green armor to start to. I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but aside from those two, they're terrible. They're not worth it. So that's what I'd like to see. But
another avenue to level, right?
Yes,
because all there is grinding, and I completely agree with you. I mean, I still maybe I do like story arcs. Well, I have a hard time even saying that I would do that, but maybe I would do it if I had to level another character just to like. It seems like story arcs would be a better way to level with like a handful of friends. With 8, you just get like a Zerg. You pull a million mobs and you kill them all, grind it, right, and that's great leveling. But if you just have like maybe 2 friends with you, maybe 3 friends, it seems like story arcs would be a better way, a better avenue for smaller groups, and then that would also alleviate some of the grinding locations, because right now, civilian, I don't know about right now, but when I was leveling, thankfully we were able to stay ahead of the curve enough. But after us, dude, I mean, civilian was just full of people, just chock full, and that's where I think a lot of the toxicity was with people. They like competing for single mobs in Seth was really, really rough, because there's only one avenue to level. But to your point, having multiple avenues, whether it be story arcs, and then maybe like the artisan system gives a little bit more experience. I would be okay with a little bit more like adventuring experience, because right now it's negligible, right? You hit a rock and it's whatever. It's hardly any experience.
I do know somebody who went from 18 to 19 hitting rocks.
Nice.
Like that.
I respect that person.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I imagine he killed a few things, just stuff that was attacking him while he was killing rocks and whatever. But no, it's pretty much just killing rocks. He's got a he's a different kind of human. There's no fucking way.
You really have to be.
There's no fucking way, man.
I'm a level 33 miner now, and I feel like I've hit a lot of rocks. And I did that all after I hit 25, because I feel like gathering is so much easier to do once you're 25.
Yeah.
And I like gathering in spots that have mobs around them, because they're not as picked over. Right. Whereas you have like level 8s, 9s, 10s that are running through the Riverlands harvesting all the obvious stuff, and they're freaking level 40 mining. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but they're journeyman miners already.
Yes,
and so
yeah, that's crazy. It's Tankologist, by the way. I know you know Tankologist is the guy that did the walk to Vera thing. He's in my guild. And he's the one that leveled from 18 to 19 hitting rocks.
Zone, give me 1 sec. I gotta go talk to my son about something real
Okay,
quick.
go talk to your son about something. I will talk about Can we talk about Narc, y'all? Like, I know that Daddy Light says OHIO. Yes, we're going to the Natty, baby. We're going to the Natty. I'll be driving up to my hometown on Monday to watch the game with my buddy for the Ohio State game. So I'm excited about that. But can we talk about Narc? Like, I know that the Narc thing happened, and like everybody made their reaction content to the Narc stuff. Everybody talked about it, and I had a plan to make a video, and things just didn't work out, and my life's so dang busy right now. I keep letting stuff slip by the wayside, and I'm not making these videos. But you totally knew it was going to be Tank. Amanda says that's hilarious. So we're talking about Narc since you abandoned me.
Yeah.
Yep. Since you abandoned me and gave me abandonment issues, I thought it made me think about how Narc abandoned Ashes of Creation. So we're gonna switch over to Narc. Oh my God, we do have to talk about he who must not be named. Yeah, Penumbra has been on the narcs of POS and is not long for this world. Trained for a long time. Narc will be back in 2 weeks. He already has a sub goal to come back to game. He has a sub goal to come back to the game. Does he really?
Yep. Yeah. That's partly why I made my video. It's just to call him out and be like, bro, you're using Ashes as your punching bag. This is your drama baiting because you're going to come back. There is zero chance that you don't come back. And it must have gotten shared in his degenerate Discord. And I was the first one to make a response video to his and be critical of his stances.
Yeah.
Some other people made it and they were fence sitters or kind of wishy-washy. And I was pretty unequivocal about like, this is a bunch of BS. And then as far as I went, and then Is There No One Else just made a fantastic, just a killer of a video after mine. And I absolutely loved every minute of it. So I mean, you and I talked about it, the whole situation. So I'd like to hear your public thoughts though. Maybe since we've talked, you've had some time to crystallize the voice of reason Zillion ideas.
There's no voice of reason here. Well, okay, he doesn't have a voice of reason, and I don't have a way to talk about this in a way without going, the dude's a fucking idiot. Like I for a long time I wanted to give him all the benefit of the doubt. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and all that stuff, but the criticisms of the game and things that he made are just so stupid that I can no longer give the benefit of the doubt. You know, for example, Steven may or may not have been a pyramid scheme guy, and he did the FOMO thing, and they took away sales for a little while and then brought the sales back, and he did like the little video where it's like him predicting that they were going to do that from the past or whatever. Yeah. And you know, he's talking about how they're just trying to create females. They're just trying to create FOMO. And I'm like, that's what fucking marketing and advertising is. If they're bad for doing that, then every company that's ever run a commercial is also bad for creating FOMO. Like that, think about it. That's what a commercial is. A commercial is, here's thing you might not have. Here's how thing would make your life better. Don't miss out on making your life better. Some commercials fucking end with limited supplies. Buy now or you're going to miss out on making your life better. Buy thing today. Right. Like that's what fucking marketing is. And I'm just like, what is this guy? What?
There's a standard that him and all the other Redditors have, that it has to be this angelic building of perfect people that are only building a game out of the goodness of their hearts and not an actual business trying to survive and trying to advance. Right. Like, and yeah, it is a business. I don't even think, and like I said in the video, I don't think that they did it as a tactic. Okay, we take everyone's $250 here, and then later we end up doing $120. You know, I think it is a lot more flying by the seat of their pants as the game is developed, as things become more doable. Mm-hmm. That's my guess. But either way, like you're saying, so what if it is? Because it doesn't. I mean, they're a business trying to exist. All the other, like every other company does this, and it like FOMO. So what if you're an idiot and you can't either make enough money to pay for it without being a significant financial burden? I'm sorry, like work an extra day or two, like done, problem solved, right? I mean, up until I was in residency, I had to take so many crappy jobs that paid nothing, but like it had to be very diligent with my money. But bro, like there were still games that I paid for all during that period of time. Okay, it was worth it. And you know, priorities. Anyways, and then the fact that let's say they did it for the purposes of FOMO, like you're saying, a common business practice. That's what it is.
It just is what it is. Yeah, it just drives me crazy. And the more I thought about it, and then you know, Vex points out his dishonesty on the desert was really, really bad. I mean, I went through that video and it's like, he didn't make one point that wasn't either a mistruth, a half truth, a lie by omission, or a flat out lie. Like there was nothing that was just a truthful, complaint about the game. And there are some complaints about the game, but none of them are in the this would make you want to like attack the creators of the game and say it's a scam or I can't do this anymore. And you know, I probably should, if I was a good content creator, if I was a good content creator, I would have before we started this stream, I would have prepared my clip from you and I like 3 months ago.
You sent it to me.
I straight up said that my prediction is that Narc will not be an Ash's content creator for long, that he'll still be a content creator for other games because he's too talented to not do that. He'll still be a content creator, but I said specifically, we're going to get into Alpha 2 and things are going to go in a way that he doesn't think they should go and he's going to throw a fit and quit. Like you can't nail it any more than that. And I would have had that clip like ready to show on stream right now if I was a good content creator. I'm not, so that's fine. But I predicted this. A lot of other people have predicted this. I'm not saying that I'm special by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of other people were predicting a lot of it. And of course he's going to be back, but I don't think he's going to be back with the, quite the audience that he has. I think he really pissed off a lot of people. I think that, over time, his audience will continue to dwindle unless he, like, I don't know if you remember, like after he made that video a few months ago, which was what caused me to say what I said, he did like an about face for like 6 or 8 weeks. Like all of a sudden the old Narc was back.
Levels of elation.
Yes. The old Narc was back. I started watching his content again. I was like, yes, this is all we wanted. Yes, this is fantastic. But I said this in that previous stream, and I believe it 100% to be true. I believe it's true about Narc, and I believe it was true about Jalon. They tried to make this a full-time career before it was available to be a full-time career, and you get more and more and more jaded because it's not happening as fast as you think it should happen. So that's really what I think is going on here. More than anything else, he wants to be a full-time content creator, really making a lot of money, and it's not happening as fast. Like, I can't even make the type of content that I want to make right now. I want to make Ashes of Creation content, but it doesn't exist for me yet. And so I'm having to just wait. Even though I know what I want to do, I'm fairly confident that I'm going to be successful at it when that time comes. I'm just having to sit back and go, okay, well, you know, I guess I'll do my job for a couple more years. I'll just continue to work. So I really think that's where it comes from. And part of me feels bad, but part of me is like I said in the previous stream, I almost went that direction. I almost thought about trying to like really hard, like go hard and try to make it a career. And I thought better of it and said, and I even thought to myself, like, if it doesn't, you'll get jaded towards the game. So anyways,
to your point, when his views would dwindle, when they'd start dipping below 10K, he would churn out the videos faster and faster and faster to compensate, right? Because he has to make X amount of dollars to live. And so his content would get diluted when he did that. Oh, dude, Penumbra, what a bro. Did you see the super chat?
Yes. Thank you, Penumbra, for the super chat, $20. I appreciate that. Or $20 Canadian. Let's be clear. For whatever reason, my YouTube live stream I can't get it to show anything. So I'm not getting any notifications except for the restream bot sending the chat over. So yes, Penumbra, thank you, man. Appreciate it. The whole one says, I don't mean to objectify, but this Burns guy is super handsome. And Jugs says, I bet he works out.
I bet Jugs is my healer.
I know Jugs is your pocket healer.
Yes. I have him cast all of his hots on me before I jump in, and I still get deleted.
And you still get deleted. That's correct.
It is what it is.
Yeah, a lot lately I've been thinking about, now that my guild's really starting to move into more PvP, I'm like, do I need to just start over and make a mage? Because do I want a fighter in PvP? Like, do I really want to like endure? And then I'm like, well, I guess I could just put on a bow and just sit in the back and just shoot. Like, it's better. It's probably more beneficial to do that than to jump in and die.
So, and that's what you have to do. Like, I have a bunch of VODs of myself, and I've done VOD reviews where you have to sit back as a fighter, to twinging away like Legolas, and then eventually a root happens, and you grow a beard and you throw down the toys and you jump in and I liked what you were saying about overpower to cat to maim, but the problem is that takes too much time. You can leap in or blitz in. Blitz is faster, but if you leap in, it does more damage. Also snares them there for a sec, and then you maim, and then you get the hell out of there,
Right?
Because otherwise, you get deleted. And the problem is, sometimes getting out of there, you get rooted, and so if you get rooted, then you have to yell, and then you have to berserk, and then you just like start spamming your dodge button, and you're getting out as fast as you can because. You're getting shot from a million different directions. If you're able to start dodging those shots while you're berserked and you get that regeneration of your stam, great, you're fine. But otherwise, if that bugs out, and sometimes berserk is a little buggy still. Have you noticed that? Like
Yeah.
It doesn't quite, like when you hit the button for it. Even when you have enough momentum, sometimes it still won't go off.
Yes, I've noticed that. Berserk's a little strange. You got to like really stare at the button to make sure that it goes on cooldown, which then you're taking your eyes off of what you should be. So just so you know, in my limited PvP action, I actually do it in the opposite order that you do on purpose. So I never leap strike in.
Right. So you can leap strike out.
So I can leap strike out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Because you have to have a target to blitz to. So I blitz one or two abilities, turn around and leap strike out.
What's so nice about leap striking out is that even if you're CC'd, you can still
leap. Yes. So that's the order that I typically do it in. Maybe if we're giving chase, I'll leap strike in because of the snare. Now it allows my guys to catch up. But if we're doing that two groups that are kind of going back and forth or whatever, you don't just leap strike in because then you're stuck in. There's nothing behind you to target and blitz to. So yeah.
Bro, if that clump is so juicy,
I know.
Sometimes leap striking in, like it's just like you like so much damage when you do it right. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
I do prefer in smaller scale. I do like to blitz in for sure.
Yeah. If you can, and kill things that way, then it is a lot of fun to do it that way. But when I was talking about the brutal cleave to Cataclysm, I was talking more PvE than PvP.
Sure.
Because every time, like I got it set up where, especially when I'm in a grind group that's like really got it going on, and I can predict how often they're going to come in and how many enemies they're going to bring into the group and stuff. Every time they come in with a big, huge group of enemies, the first thing they do, the tank hits intimidating aura, and then the tank gets, starts getting dropped real fast, big spike of damage to the tank. And so what I started doing was, as soon as they get in, brutal cleave, Cataclysm, it trips everything, and that huge spike of damage on the tank doesn't happen. And so that's I've used it in that way as like it's almost like a crowd control, my own little mini version of it that the fighter can pull off. So it's pretty fun.
It's nice as a fighter if you pull like a zombie thaumaturge in Carfin or whatever. Or just a zombie, and they have the plague vomit. They have all those things that they can cast.
Yeah.
If you, the fighter, if let's say you pull an extra ZT, you can babysit one of them, and you can interrupt. You can trip them, and then you can slap them anytime they start doing plague vomit, and you can save your group from a wipe.
Yes.
And so it was interesting. My group, they had me. I was the only fighter, but there was another group that we were keeping close communications with from my guild as they leveled. They didn't have a fighter, and there were some issues with overpulling and then wiping as a result because they didn't have a fighter to sit on the ZTs.
Yes, that's exactly
to do
right.
some babysitting.
So that brings me to a couple of more nitty gritty questions that I want to get into with you for the back half of this live stream. Do you think the time to kill is too fast?
Good question. I would. I'd like in PvP. I would say yes. When they did the damage nerf previously, it decreased. I mean, right? The weapons what they did to address the too quick TTK last time was just nerfed everyone's damage.
Right.
I don't want them to do that again because then PvE slows down even more. Leveling is even longer. That's really hard. So I would be okay if they slow down the TTK. I still think even if they change the TTK or not, melee needs to slap harder than it does, because right now it is like hitting someone with a ranged ability, but you're in their face, and that doesn't make any freaking sense. Like, it is.
I've been timing it or testing it, doing the best that I can. Just sitting back with my bow and just going crazy with my short bow. And then on the next one, I'll jump in and like use abilities and all that stuff. It's not that much harder. Like, it's the time to kill. I kill a little faster, but it's not that much faster.
I can see that.
It's almost like, and you're so much safer, and it's so much more brainless. Like, you don't even got to think what you're doing. I think it's almost better to have your fighter just sit back with a bow and just.
Bro, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
So but the problem is, in large scale PvP, no matter how you jump in or whatever, you're diving backline, you're doing something like that. All it takes is for the shot caller to say, okay, everyone focus Zillin, and then all of the people just they look at you, they hit the tab button, and then they hit one button. And if they're all doing it together, you are instantly deleted. There's nothing you can do about it. No questions asked.
Yep.
There needs to be some like a little bit more defensive. There needs to be a little bit more mitigation for fighters, or melee too. I mean, sorry, tanks too. Probably slightly more PvP mitigation, but I mean, the challenges or changes in balance and stuff, that'll come over time. So TTK, sure. They could decrease the PvP TTK. I liked Zybak's video today. I think he was talking about it, where a longer TTK allows for more skill expression. But the problem is, when you start lengthening that out too much, then you have to change the mana cost. You have to worry about mana regeneration. And then really, if you make the TTK too long, then it's just bards that, I mean, they already win every 1v1.
Yeah.
But a good bard is the best 1v1er, hands down, bar none. It is a fallacy to believe otherwise. There was the 1v1 tournament, and the bard, who knew how to play his class very well, he won sleeping, walking away, right? Like, there is nothing you can do about a good bard right now.
Yep.
And I don't want, I'm not saying bards need to get nerfed into the ground or whatever, but the TTK, as you lengthen that out, there will be unintended consequences of having other problems too. So it's a good question. I don't have a clear answer. I do think there are other things that need to change too. What about you? Do you like the TTK the way it is? Do you want them to change it?
I do want them to change it. I don't want them to change it by decreasing the damage, like you said, because and that actually leads into my second question. So we'll go into the second question in just a second, but I think the TTK is too fast. In PvP, there have been so many times where it's just like, I'm dead. I was at full health and now I'm dead. And it's like, I didn't feel like there was any skill involved in like that. Any way in which I could have used skill. I'm not trying to say the people that killed me didn't use skill. There wasn't a way in which I could use skill in order to have stopped that from happening.
Sure.
And so that I'm not a big fan of that part of it. And then in PvE, I don't like how there are numerous mobs that just have weird one-shot mechanics that just delete you. And it's like, that's not, I don't, okay. Depending on which one, like the rotten fulminations, for example, get out of the red smoke you see on the screen right now. Like, you got to get out of the red smoke, for the rotten fulminations. But like I think it's the thermitages that do an ability called flame throw, where it randomly targets someone, and unless it gets interrupted, it's going to kill you. Or if you're high enough level, it won't. But and it's like
the flame seekers. Is that what you're talking about?
I can't. It seems like it's all the thermita, all the fire, the pyromancers and Highwayman Hills.
And in Steel Bloom.
And in Steel Bloom, yes. The fire starters. With that ability, like, it's going to kill you if it doesn't get interrupted. There's no dodging it. There's no blocking it. Like, maybe you can block it. But yeah, it just I don't like the regular, everyday, normal NPCs that you're just trying to kill the grind on having one shot abilities. Or at least not like near spammable one shot abilities. Like, maybe if they did one and then it was, a minute before they could do another one or something. But, I would like to see the killing slow down a little bit, because like Zybak pointed out, it really enhances the skill expression a lot.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, and what I think is probably the solution to this, but I'm wondering if you've noticed it. Have you noticed that there's literally not one goddamn bit of difference between light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor? Have you looked at what it does to your mitigation?
Yes.
It's infinitesimally small increases.
Yes. The individual stats on them generally, though, right? Like if you have heavy armor, generally the stats on that heavy armor have more physical mitigation than it does magic, right? And then the light armor usually has more magic resistance than physical. So I think that's where the big difference comes from. But like you're saying, running, the differences between the three classes, between the three categories of armor is not big enough. There's not an official enough difference between those. So it does
all of your tanks, if your tank has half a brain, is running all light armor, as much light armor as they can get. Because
to get all that
to get the magic resist, because if you take an entire suit of light armor off and look at your physical mitigation before you take it off, and then take it all off and put on an entire set of heavy armor, it's like 1.3% mitigation.
Right.
It's so small that why wear the heavy armor? So we're forcing all the tanks to wear light armor. It's just weird. It's just weird. And I feel like there's just not enough difference. And I feel like that's where they could really increase the TTK, is by making it where if you want to live longer, you wear heavy armor and it increases your mitigation by big leaps. And now you slow down how much people die. And you also make, other types of armor besides light armor make more sense.
So how would you do that, and have, like, what differences would you make between the armor types then? So yes, okay, you say for heavy there's more mitigation bonus, but then what do you do with light armor? How do you benefit light armor? More damage?
So, well, number one, they have the set bonuses so all the light armor set bonuses increase magical damage and all that stuff. The medium armor set bonuses increase physical damage. The heavy armor set bonuses increase mitigation. So that's, how,
like, increasing those, you're saying, because the differences are pretty small.
Yeah.
But you're saying, like, widen that gap.
Number one, you could widen that gap. I am also a fan of, like, here's an example. Let's say somebody wants to be a spell sword. So like a fighter mage. So you're okay. They should be put in not a bind, but given a choice of how they want to choose their armor. Like make it where when you're wearing heavy armor, obviously you're a lot tougher. You're harder to kill, but your mana regen's a lot slower.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like make it where heavy armor actually has a negative effect on casters specifically. Now, of course, that doesn't work as well because tanks use mana as well. So maybe you can't do that. But something like that, where wearing heavy armor is a choice that somebody who doesn't typically wear heavy armor, so your non-tanks and your non-fighters, can choose. I want to be tougher, but I'm going to give up this in order to be tougher. That's the way I've always wanted to do it. They went more like light armor is for magic resist, heavy armor is for physical resist. So, but I just don't think they've gone far enough in the area of physical resist. Like it does feel like if you wear light armor, you're so much more resistant to magic. Like it's crazy how much tougher you are against magic. But if you go all heavy armor, it's not that way.
With so many mages on my server, I don't know what Lilith is like, but on Vyra, tons of freaking mages.
Oh yeah, there's mages everywhere.
Yeah, and then bards do a ton of magic damage, and then even rangers, they will imbue, or I don't know if they'll get some type of magic damage on top of their physical damage that they do. And so having magic resist for PvP, I think, is best right now.
Yes, I
don't think going all heavy is the play, especially for fighter. If you're going to do PvP, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to be in light.
Yes, agreed. And so I don't like that they've kind of shoved everybody in the light armor category. And Sid Meier's has famously said back in the day when Sid Meier's is.
I love Sid.
Okay.
Civilization.
Yeah, Civilization. Yeah. And he talked about how all video games really is all designing video games really is forcing the players to make interesting decisions.
Cool. Yeah. Gosh dang it. I love Cinema.
Yeah, I
She's
do
so
too.
great.
Yeah. And so I would like to see there be a little bit more decision. Now, that all being
Yeah.
said, and we said this earlier, we're not in the phase for that. We're not in the balance phase. We're not in the small fixes. Like, so I'm not trying to say that this game, I'm not going to go narc and quit the game and throw a big fit and say Steven's a whatever. We're not going.
C word.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. We're not going down that route. We're just talking about what we see and what we'd like to have, looked at some time in the future.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of them. So another thing that I have started to notice, and I'm wondering if it's going to be another thing where they push everybody into the same category. Everybody's going to be, it's not going to matter what your class is. Everybody's going to be in light armor using fast weapons. So have you noticed that the fast weapons get to their finisher faster?
Yes.
You get more finishers. And so you're dumb if you're using the big slow weapons.
100%. So that's why daggers, when they come out, I'm just gonna get some daggers.
I'm gonna be a fighter with a dual wield dagger. I can almost guarantee it. I've already had. Yes. That's kind of the point that I was trying to make. Yep.
How do they fix that? Is my question for you then.
You have to make it where the fast weapons combo is longer, so that they happen at the same time. It doesn't matter how fast your weapon is, the same amount of actual time needs to take place, until your finisher happens or doesn't happen. So I think that's the only way to do that. And I will also admit, because I know how the brain does things, it's possible that that's already the case. It just feels better to see those, you're firing constantly with your bow or whatever, everything's fast. It may just feel better. And so it's already that way. You just feel like you're getting more finishers, which you're not actually, because the brain does funny things.
No, I agree with you. That is an issue.
Yeah. So,
and then also for resource generation, I'm pretty sure the faster attacking weapons are better for that.
Yeah, yes.
I really want to see with the with the daggers. That'll be something that'll be fun to play with, because the way that I play a fighter is kind of like a bar. Is kind of like a
ranger
assassin right now.
Assassin.
It's like I'm if it's 8v8, I swing around the side and everyone's kind of looking at me funny as I'm doing 130 damage with a stupid bow.
Yeah.
But then the moment they get rooted, I blitz in, end cap the healer, I leap on the bard, I overpower and then trip and then maim, and then hopefully everyone has focused the bard with me and the bard's dead. And that's pretty much GG for the group.
Right.
But like that's really kind of roguish play, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's what you'd expect a rogue to do, not the warrior class, not the beefy brawler, right? There's not a lot of brawling that you're getting with a fighter.
Yeah, I agree. And like I remember when Steven was describing what the Berserk ability was going to do during the fighter showcase, and chat was just like, OP, that's OP, like Berserk's going to be OP, and it's like, Berserk ain't shit. Like I barely use Berserk. Like it's not really that good.
Because I don't like you need to have 20 momentum in order for it to even proc. And you can blitz in, you can get a little bit there, but I think we need more builders for momentum to keep Berserk up, or to even be able to proc it.
Right. I find that I use Berserk to reset the cooldown on my other abilities more than for that's what I use Berserk for.
Same. That's really what you gotta do.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe I should sit down and actually get a stopwatch out in time how long it takes to get to like longbow finishers versus and see if it really is a problem, because if it is faster, it's a problem. And then also I would also want to look into like with blessed weapon and the mana recharge, is a fast weapon better than a slow weapon? Like, are you getting more of it? Because right now it really does seem like they're just pushing everybody to light armor and fast weapons. And bard.
That sounds like a fantastic video that I can't wait to watch.
Yeah. So We don't need to make a video. We just talked about it right here. This is a video. This is a video. What are you talking about? Um, so, so Clever Guy says maybe the weapon / attack speed after the overall damage from finishers. Super fast weapons get a 0.5 modifier and slow weapons get a 2 times modifier. It's another way you could do it is make the finishers not be as strong for fast weapons. Make them a lot stronger for slow weapons, and then be ×1 just normal for normal, like a sword, like a normal longsword or whatever. That's another way to do it. Or you just make the combos be where they're the same. And like I said, it may be that way, but we'll see.
Someone said I was quiet again, so I pulled my mic a little closer and I turned up my gain a little bit. So I wonder, we'll see if this helps.
Thanks, Brant. Yeah, and I also tend to get loud whenever I'm excited about things and talking about things I'm passionate about and stuff. So I may have raised my volume. Let me move my mic away just a little bit. I redid my entire office. The background back here that you guys have never seen before, because it's always had a green screen, that paint on the wall was my green screen. I'm going to be painting that wall back white, and I have some things. My wife bought me a neon sign that says Zillin. That's maybe cool. So my wife bought me that for our anniversary, and I have some other knickknacks, stuff that people have bought me. So I'm going to actually make a background and not do the green screen thing as much. So things are different in here, including my distance away from my microphone. So that's going to take a little time to adjust and get used to. Bamman says, I think the outlier might be wand for whatever reason. Can you explain what you mean by that, Bamman? He also said, I can echo crit for 3K with a book. Echo crit? Is that like it's probably, what is an echo crit? Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the skill tree for books and wands. Weapon skills tree ability echo. Okay.
Did you want to talk about things that we are likely to get here?
That was my last topic.
Yeah,
that was my last topic.
I got phase 2 up here.
Okay.
So, zone expansion, which we already got. The desert expanded, the tropics expanded. Roger. Nodes, 2 new unique node layouts. So, right,
we don't have that.
Remember, what was that?
We don't have that yet.
Correct. Yeah. And then nodes going up to level 4. We definitely don't have that yet.
We don't have that yet.
Then,
before you go on, how many nodes do you think are going to go to level 4? Oh, I reached the end of this video.
Like how many nodes can? Because they're going to introduce apparently, according to what Steven was saying, they're going to introduce vassal ship when they introduce nodes getting to level 4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I wonder how. Like, I'd have to look up the vassal ship structure. I think it's just 1, right? So I think every other node could get up to level 4, because I'm pretty sure a level 4 can only vassal 1 other node. Let's double check the Ashes, or maybe chat knows before I do. Ashes creation.
I didn't think that. I thought the level 4 locked out everything that was in its zone of influence. But of course, the way the zone of influence works now, it is not exactly what they described when they first started talking about nodes.
A level 4 can only lock out 1 other. Yeah, it can just lock out a level 3.
Okay.
So, and we
have 8 nodes, so we'd have 4 level 4 nodes.
Yeah, we could potentially, except if you're on Vyra and you happen to get your node destroyed by
dopamine,
by a guild who's very vengeful. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
that would be terrible.
That sounds awful. So let me ask you this. I know there's some more contention on Vyra than there was on Lilith. Lilith right now is like the most peaceful, serene, especially in regards to how the mayors are handling things. Like they've got it all mapped out. We're going to have access to journeyman almost everything. There's a few things we won't. And all that, but it's not awesome because it's not what the game is designed to be.
True.
It's not what the game's designed
It's
to be.
awesome to have journeyman stations because right now we have nodes that are doubling up on stuff. Right. We have a bunch of not people. We have people who know other nodes have these buildings and they're still building those. And it's like, what purpose do you have to do this other than just being an absolute troll? So yeah, I think I don't know if I'm going to attribute malice to what is likely just stupidity. So there's a lot of that going on in Vira.
Yeah.
Things are slowly getting a little bit more specialized, which is good. But we just got journeyman mining. We don't have journeyman lumberjacking yet. The crafting stations, I don't know if we have a single journeyman crafting station yet. So it's,
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So continuing on with what I was saying with Lenneth being the way that it is, and everything's all peaceful and it's all good and all that stuff. What do stage 4 nodes have to benefit you that stage 3 nodes don't? That's good enough to make you go, I will burn the world down to let me be in a stage 4 node, me be the mayor of a stage 4 node versus someone else, but versus being in a stage 3 node.
Right. That's such
like,
a good question.
That's what, to me, that's the heart of the game.
Yeah.
If this entire game, the entire node system, everything this game is built on, the thing that makes this thing revolutionary, it breaks down if there is not something at the next node stage or next node level from where you are that's so good you're willing to burn it all down to get it for yourself. If you don't have that, you're not going to have the dynamic world changing. Everybody's going to be peaceful. They're going to specialize, and everybody, you're going to know, okay, I got to do mining today, and the mining node is Winstead, so I'm going to go to Winstead because they have all the mining stuff in Winstead. It's the stage 6 node in the area, and it's never ever changing. So yeah, what does stage 4 have to offer to make you want to burn it all down?
So I'm a little bit different with this. I think your question is fantastic. You're asking a little bit of a psycho this question because like I am going to want to burn down towns for the practice of burning down towns, right? It's not that I just want to watch the world burn. It's that I want a controlled burn and I want to learn all of the mechanics. I want to be a part of every node siege that I can so that I understand the mechanics, that I understand what early looks like, what's successful mid, and then what things you need to do at end to really close it out. If there are guilds I don't like, I would like to have to wield the power to be able to either make them conform or destroy their node. So that's from my perspective. If they are, douchebags, I would like to be able to destroy their node. That's really what it is. For me, I think it's a political game. For a lot of other people, that's a great question. I can't even put myself in those shoes because I'm very one-track mind on this. What do you think? What is the answer to your question from your perspective?
I also don't have the best answer in the entire world, partly because I don't have access to all that information, what is going to be part of those nodes and not. A couple of things that I can say that make sense. Like as soon as they put stage 4 nodes in the world, I think mayors of stage 3 nodes should lose access to their flying mounts.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yes, 100% agree.
Right. And then the first nodes that get to stage 4, those mayors can have their flying mounts. So you'd have 4 mayors that have flying mounts and 4 mayors that don't. Now that only makes the mayor want to, go burn down another node, to so that they can get their node up to level 4. But so like I have a situation now where a bunch of my guildies have said the variations of the same thing, which is I don't have. I'm not a citizen of any node because nobody has told me any benefit to being a citizen of a node right now that makes it worth it to pay the taxes. So even right now, people aren't like really engaging with the node system, which is fine because again, we're not in that phase of testing. I get it. So we already have a situation where we're not even caring about that. So we're going to put stage 4 nodes in. Like, what could they give you? I know that there's the whole artifact system for higher level nodes that will come in.
Relics.
The relics. That's what I meant. Yeah, the relic system.
Yep. And which is supposed to be phase 2, by the way.
Is it?
Yes, relics are supposed to be phase 2. I'm looking at it right here.
Okay. So then there you go. That may be part of that patch. When they put in the Vaseline, they may put in the relics as well. And just real quickly for anybody who might be watching and not know what the relic system is, I forget exactly where you get the relics, but higher level nodes can get relics, and those relics will give you items that are otherwise hard to acquire on a daily basis, like crafting materials, basically. So like, let's say there's something that Firebrand drops, like a scale that Firebrand drops. And so you can only kill Firebrand however often that he spawns. And then only if you're the first guild to get there and do the most damage, etc. Or you have a stage 4 node and every day you can just go peel one scale off. Right. So that's a huge advantage to the people who are in the stage 4 node. You also, at that point, that would also mean that at that point you would have to require housing in order to have citizenship. Otherwise, everybody will just go be citizen of the stage 4 nodes.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that play there. As far as the Vaseline and stage 4 nodes and how all that's going to play out. So I guess we have
also, I think that node currency that needs it's very rudimentary right now. Node currency, maybe you make vendors only sell things that you need, like Flux, for example, with node currency. So you're forcing people to participate in node stuff in order to even do crafting stuff. There'd be a lot of balancing you'd have to do with that, but the node currency system is also another avenue that you have to funnel people into the node system.
Yeah.
And I know that is a big concern of theirs, right? Because in the Node War live stream, Keenan and Planendorf were talking about it, and Planendorf was like asking him questions about it, like, hey, what do you think? How do we actually get people involved rather than just the top 0.1% of players who run things? Because that would be kind of a tragedy, right? Like this amazing node system that then just gets bypassed because it's not useful enough in the game, and everyone just kind of nodes are their own thing, and then the PvEers do their own thing over here.
Right. I have made that video a couple of times in my early long time ago that the node system is literally everything. It is everything. If they do not find a way to get players to engage, like average players, just casuals who log in, to understand how important nodes are and engage with that system, this is just another fantasy MMO with good combat.
Yeah.
That system is the linchpin for everything. So, we'll see if they're able to do that. I do like the idea of, and this is something I've been talking about the last couple of days, but, the node currency vendor on a stage 4 node needs to have access to a lot more stuff. Needs to sell a lot more stuff.
Yep.
So your stage 3 guy, he's got some of that basic crap. You can get the royal cloak or whatever, and buy a couple of crafting mats or whatever. But the stage 4 guy, there's a couple of mounts you can buy, and some serious stuff that's associated with stage 4, and you can only buy with node currency from nodes that you are a citizen of. So
Magic Pipe said Steven said end of January for level 4 and for node level 4 and relics.
End of January.
That's soon. That's very soon.
You better get busy, Steven.
That's very soon.
The patches that you've been putting out here lately have been not that big. What they did say that it was going to be kind of daily small stuff, and then 6 weeks we were going to have major patches. And so I guess end of January would be 6 weeks from the start of phase 2. So I guess the math and the timing works out on that. That math is mathing.
He said additional, the phase 2 map says additional service buildings. I wonder what that additional service buildings, are there certain buildings? Are we not, like with crafting and stuff, are there certain buildings we don't have access to right now?
From what I understand, we have access to all the crafting buildings, but there's like the School of Construction, and do you even know? Do you have any idea what's going on these nodes?
No, I'm not a mayor.
Okay,
I'm a citizen of Winstead for the storage.
Okay. Okay. So there is like a school of construction which reduces the cost of building other buildings.
Okay, cool.
So you
Yeah,
could build
got
that
it.
one first. There's a factory. I can't remember what the factory does, but there's several little buildings that are like augment buildings. They do things to the node that don't have anything to do with the crafting stations and stuff. So there could be more of those.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. The library is a service building that Blake just said.
Yeah. Okay.
So reliquary, freehold. The reliquary,
That makes
you might have to make a reliquary on a stage 4 node in order to put a relic in it.
True. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so there we go.
Cool.
So
That
there's
makes
more
sense.
there's more service buildings coming. Do you think that big, what they call the node cork, the big rounded square that a node is in, that's kind of a depression in the ground,
Yeah.
Do you think that stage 6 nodes are going to be the entire city is that size?
I think so.
You think so? Okay.
How about you?
I have gone back and forth. Originally, I thought that was where the freeholds were going to go, outside of the city itself. Now we know a little bit more about how freeholds are going to work, so I don't think that's the case. I do wonder if, I guess the majority of what's going to be out there, because we already have like a lot of the stuff we're going to interact with, like the typical services in the town. And then of course you're gonna have more plots to build stations or whatever. But other than that, what's all that space? But it's on node housing. That I think you're gonna have lots of on node housing in that big square.
Oh, they said Everett chat saying that Stephen confirmed that the cork will be filled by a stage 6 node,
nice.
Which is good.
That's awesome.
I also don't really like the cork the way it is. Like, you're gonna have way more nodes that don't fill it up, right? You're only gonna have 5 level 6 nodes. It feels a little unfinished to me seeing the cork. Like maybe when the node expands, it changes the landscape, because just walking up to a cork, it feels weird. It's unnatural, right? Like you don't see perfect lines in nature, that, right? It that feels odd. I don't really like that very much, but maybe that's just me.
Well, and it's also entirely could be unfinished.
It feels unfinished.
So I'm not too much worried about that. I do know what you mean though. Like it's very strange. It's very strange. They definitely need to hide the depression in the ground and the depiction in the map. That may come along.
Another system that we're supposed to be getting, and this has to be before. It doesn't have to be, but I hope it's before node sieges. Is siege vehicles.
Okay. So catapults, trebuchets, ballistas, rams, etc. Man, I'm so excited about node sieges. Siege warfare in MMOs is just fun.
Yes.
It's just fun. And then they're actually
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they're actually adding like value to your siege system instead of just being something that's just a castle that's gonna trade hands 17 times today while you're at work.
Right.
They're actually adding where it's they're winning a siege is going to like actually mean something to you for a longer period of time than 8 minutes. I'm excited about sieges, and I can't wait to lead my first ram up to the gates and have hot oil being poured on me and people shooting at you through murder holes and whatnot, and you're trying to hit the ram. Awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Magic Pipe said Stephen also confirmed the siege, the 2 siege weapons in the original siege will be in end of January / early February. Okay, good.
Okay. Blake says Steven mentioned they'll be testing siege vehicles on PTR very soon. I wonder if I know anybody who's got PTR access that could jump in there and test that stuff.
Other thing, gems and sockets. We know that's going to be coming online fairly soon. Steven's talked about it. That will be interesting to see how they're going to decide which items have gem sockets, right? Because not every item, from what I understand, will have a gem socket.
Sure.
Only some will. Maybe it's a rarity thing.
Some will have multiple sockets.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I have always liked in games that I played, like in New World, I made millions in New World doing gems. I would so they would change the dungeons. They would rotate the dungeons every week. It was really cheesy. It was a horrible system, but they would make it like one week would be a fire dungeon, and then the next week would be an earth damage type dungeon. And so I would play the market with the gems because I knew people would just resocket the gems, and I made millions that way.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
great. So I'm looking forward to gems and stuff.
In response to me asking if anybody had access to the PTR, Blake Hedberg says, "You do, dummy." And I just want to tell Blake that you might want to go get the batteries changed on your sarcasm detector because they're running a little low. Running a little low.
Another thing I'm excited for: artisanship skill trees. What artisan stuff are you doing?
Animal husbandry. Remember I mentioned earlier.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. So my guild has at least apprentice in every craft and process and gather, and we have journeyman in a bunch of them. So
Sweet.
the economy and crafting has been a big focus for us. So we're really going well there. I do have a journeyman animal husbandrist, Halcyon, which is the node that Thor Pirate Software is the mayor of, and he runs. They are in the process of building the journeyman animal husbandry station.
Oh, let's go.
And I already have like 3 of the Pride Stalker, the Lion Mount. It's the fastest mount in the game. And I have a few Blood Omens, and
nice.
I have a few of the Timeless Terrapins. So I have some ready to be converted as soon as that deal is. We're going,
bro. That's so much money at first. I mean, obviously you're going to kit out your guild and stuff, but what I've noticed with animal husbandry is with the waves, it makes money in waves.
Yes.
Right. And then the beast of burden, and then also the livestock eventually will be money. Like that'll be the continuous money. But dude, the mounts as those buildings come up,
you make some money.
It is fascinating to see that.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I don't like because you made a video about it. This animal husbandry system is a pathetic little weasel compared to what it's gonna be. And so when you start getting into what it's gonna be, that's where your money is going to be more steady across the way. And also, I mean, people are losing beast and burden nonstop because people have really stopped letting caravans. Like for a while, especially on my server, people were just letting caravans go, but we're not doing that shit no more. You're not getting rich on my watch, buddy. So people are going to need more beast and burden. Have you run any caravans?
Yes.
Okay. What's your best beast of burden?
The pipe is gonna hook me up with one. It's the stallion,
the runic steed,
whatever,
or obsidian stallion, one of the two. Common, I'm assuming.
I haven't. I don't know.
Okay,
we'll see what pipe gives me.
So the general speed rating on a common runic steed beast of burden is 82.
Okay.
I had one because I'm wearing full animal husbandry clothes, so I have the plus rarity or whatever, and I had a green that turned into blue. General speed rating's 111.
Oh,
and the acceleration rating is 295.
That's a huge difference.
Yes. So I actually had that happen twice. So I gave one of them to one guy in our guild who runs a lot.
Pipe said he made a heroic one.
Oh, 140 speed. Good God.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, so definitely like getting the high levels of those beasts and then turning them into higher level beasts of burden.
Yeah.
Like I actually wonder if at some point we're going to have beasts of burden that run as fast as like a horse. Like you can actually have your caravan be as close to as fast as a horse. Or maybe
it can't be for game design reasons.
Yeah.
Right? It's gotta be. You have to be able to attack it.
Yeah. No, fuck them people. I want my fast. I want fast caravan.
Dude, that would be really cool though.
Yeah. So
let's see what else. Animal husbandry breeding. So they're going to change how that works. But
have you seen that there's already some recipes in the game from that?
No.
Yeah.
How does that work?
A couple of people have dropped recipes. You can't even use them, so you can't like learn the recipe. But one of them was to make like. I think it was tier 1, so it would have been like just horse. But in order to make a horse, you had to have 2 foals. So the ingredients for horse is 2 foals.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of this system that we don't even have any access
Yeah.
to yet. So
Right.
yeah, that's all coming. Yeah.
Dude, okay. That makes me. Yeah. Magic Pipe's going to be sharing his screen a lot with me coming up soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to see every bit of this.
Yes.
Instanced housing. That's another thing.
Instanced housing. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you have to have a situation where you restrict citizenship in order to make tier 4 nodes mean anything.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's meaningless. Everybody just goes and joins a tier 4 node.
Leaderboards. And
please tell me what the fuck that means. They have had just the word leaderboards thrown about randomly here and there for 7 years. What leaders of what?
They've talked about leaderboards. I talked about a little bit in my scoreboards video where they're going to have PvE, they're going to have artisanship, and then they're going to have PvP scoreboards, like leaderboards. So I don't know. I bet they're going to be very rudimentary at first, but eventually it would be kind of cool. I mean, I bet on my server in my top 10 miner, maybe a level 33. So I don't know. I'm technically a master.
Stop. You're not in the top 10 mining. I guarantee it.
Top 10.
I would bet you anything. We got 6 people in my guild who are higher level than 33 right now. Well, that's just in my guild.
That's just also on Lyneth, right?
Oh yeah, well that's true. We're the Care Bears.
I mean, I'm saying on Vyra, like there is stiff competition, bro, for every mining spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there are people who have alts, and this is always what gathering turns into. They have alts spread across the world at different hotspots. They'll log into that alt for a second, check the hotspot, then log out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And then they'll send their main to either harvest or not harvest at that spot. So that's always what this turns into. And it's
Magic Pipe says we murder each other for mines on Vyra. There's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of people have figured out that you can flag up and stun somebody to stop their mining.
Yeah. Did I tell you about how it went corrupt?
No.
So I got double corrupted. I went to go do that to a guy because this was right as we hit apprentice. And so I saw him running toward a big tin node. And so I flagged up and I blitzed to him because he was a little far away and he was just about to hit the tin node. And so I blitzed to him. The problem is when I got to him, he turned into a pile of ash. And I looked at it and then I realized that he was a level 3 and he was mining at a level 3, and then I looked down and I saw a little II symbol with a red person on it, and I was level 2 corrupted. So that was not fun.
Yeah. That's nasty. Did you get one of your guildies come over and kill you and give you your stuff back?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. They got to stop that. They have to stop that from happening.
Yeah. So there's. Like, how do you stop that?
Did we not already have this discussion? I thought we already had this discussion. I have an idea, and I think it stops it outright. So the first time you get corrupt, so you're corrupt level 1, blight level 1, you have corruption you have to work off, and 1 death can take the place of that corruption, but it lasts 15 minutes no matter what.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
At blight level 2, it lasts 30 minutes. At blight level 3, it lasts an hour. Like, whatever. Yeah. Like, you cannot just go uncorrupt real fast. You have to be corrupt in the world for a certain amount of time, depending on how much corruption you've been acquiring and how much blight you have. I think that puts an end to it immediately.
I agree.
So yeah, but to me,
that's a great idea.
Like so I used to play Darkfall, which has a lot of similarities to Ashes, just not the node system. But they tried a karma system like this where you would go corrupt or red or whatever, and people would just go murder shit and then go meet behind the building over there, have their guildie kill them. Corruption goes away and they go back to their life. And it just totally you might as well not even had a karma system. So you got to do something.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
God code it so you can't log the timer. Yes.
Yeah, completely.
Can't trade anything while you're corrupt at all, because otherwise you just give all your stuff to your guildie.
Yep. They already have that, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And then story arcs is supposed to be coming online for the Riverlands in phase 2, which I know you were excited about. I am glad that there will be another avenue to level.
Yeah. And that's if story arcs are like a legitimate way to level. We don't know that they will be, but yeah.
True. Dynamic world dungeons. Because right now they're pretty static, huh? So like mobs changing based on time of day and season
Oakenbane,
and node structure.
Yeah, Oakenbane
does change.
Changes when Miraleth goes to stage 3. But
that's a good point.
But that's just that one change. It's not changing based on night and day. There are some places where things do change based on night and day, though.
So Carfin, just outside of Carfin, we were hitting those stone golems, and it changed day and season at the same time, unfortunately. So we couldn't tell what it was. But yeah, those spawns changed.
Yeah, there are a few places. I can't remember. There's somewhere. Oh, in Remnants of Cephalion. During the day, there's canal grims around the outer edge, and at night, it's nocturnal scavengers. It's bats.
Oh, that's
the canal
cool.
grims are little 2-star rabbits, and then there's 3-star bats at night. So I knew there was somewhere where that was happening. I just couldn't remember. Rin says, I guess I'll switch to Twitch so this man knows who's talking to him. Rin is one of the high-level officers in my guild. So I guess he was one of these other people who've been talking on YouTube the entire time. But thanks for jumping in, Rin. I appreciate you hanging out. Somebody said, Trimblewick said, honestly, the corruption system requires an overhaul, especially for those that just stay AFK throughout the world spying, but can't kill them due to going corrupt and being heavily punished. I don't think the corruption system needs an overhaul. I just think they have to stop people from just having a friend or guildmate kill them. Not even kill them, just be there when they die. Like you just run off, have a bear kill you, and then they pick up your stuff and they hand it back to you and move on with your life. Because then it's not really a punishment. Anything else?
That's it. Yep.
So I remember sending you a message. Well, this is the last thing we'll talk about before we get out of here today. I remember sending you a message, and I asked you, would calling the people who exploited during phase 1 brain dead losers be too much? And your response was something like, people like Tough on Crime, it probably wouldn't be too much, or something like that. And I wanted to make a video, and one of the reasons I didn't make it is because I couldn't find a way to say what I was trying to say without sounding really negative towards Steven, and that's not, I mean, I guess it is what's trying to do, but I was not trying to do that. But in my opinion, telling everybody who exploited in phase 1 that we're going to delete the character that we're going to delete in 2 weeks anyways, when the wipe happens, was not a punishment.
Sure.
So, what you act out is what you believe. Actions speak louder than words. Be about it, don't talk about it. We have a million ways we say this in society. The action Steven took sent the message that they don't care about exploiting. I'm not saying Steven doesn't care about exploiting. I'm saying the message he sent is we don't care about exploiting. And I feel like I really should have made that video because the exploiting has been rampant. And I guarantee you that many of the people who are exploiting are the people who were also exploiting in phase 1. But because
I know they are.
Yes. And so the slap on the wrist that wasn't even a slap on the wrist didn't do the job. Does Steven have to absolutely lay the hammer down in order to stop this?
Yes, but I'm concerned he won't.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm concerned that there are PI members I'll just say it straight up. It's envious, man.
It's envious,
there is video proof of them exploiting several times in Carfin and doing things after Steven said, don't do this.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Video proof of it. My guild mates went in there, Assad. We've got ranger guys that were stealthed up as they were walking around. We have video proof of it. We've submitted it. Steven is in 2 Discords. His main Discord account is in 2 Discords. It's in the Ashes primary one, and it's an Envious.
Yeah.
It is a conflict of interest. I don't think it's a great move. It is a bad look. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that they exploit. I mean, they go to the PTR, they find the exploit, they bring it to the game. They use this coziness that they have with Intrepid as a recruiting tool. They've done it before, like when Margaret told DA, "Hey, get what names do you have for people who want to get into the pre-alpha 2 testing, and we'll get them in." DA blasted that and said, "Hey, look, join our guild. Look what we have. We can get you into this testing early if you join our guild." Right? Like, there are, and that was even before I played against them, right? I mean, who cares? There's a bunch of people in game that my guild fights against. Where there's smoke, there's fire. When it smells bad, there's poop somewhere, right? Like that's what's going on here, right? And every time there's some exploit or something that's going on, like it is stinky around the Envious Discord. They made officer-wide pings about the duplicating. Yokai said, "Hey, everyone, here's how you exploit. Follow these steps, and you can start duping. We need to keep up with the rest of the server."
Yeah.
Like, so then I don't know if Yokai, in fact, in the videos, I don't think I've seen Yokai was doing the Carfin exploit, but there were several other, and I'm pretty sure DA was in there. So if there's not bans, yeah, that's what to do then. Make videos about it. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's one of the reasons why I made my channel, is to have some influence in things, to be able to, and you know, I don't believe that just saying, "Hey, we deleted some accounts. We really did. You know, $250 were wasted right there on those accounts." It needs to be public. So that which offends publicly must be reprimanded publicly.
Interesting.
That's like an old Sun Tzu thing, right? Like, he who offends openly must be punished openly, or something like that. And it's a true principle, because if there is a public offense, a public action, and there's a private punishment, everyone's still going to be pissed about it, right? They're not going to actually know what happened. Or there's a private, you know, there's a private issue, but it's dealt with publicly. Everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, what the freak's going on here? Why are you blowing this guy up?"
So that's more common. That's a lot more common.
Yes.
Your boss will sit down and be like, "Okay, all of you guys need to stop doing blah 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 in your email. Everybody needs to stop that." And he's talking to one fucking person, but he doesn't have the balls to just pull that one guy aside and say, "Hey, this thing you're doing in your email, you got to stop." Instead, he's gonna, I hate that so much.
It follows that principle, right? He who offends privately should be reprimanded privately, right? Like,
yes,
those things should be on the same level, and I am concerned there's not going to be enough punishment. And to quote you, that which you allow, you encourage.
You encourage. Yes. That now, that's not really quoting me, because somebody else said that. I don't remember who it was, but I've always loved that. You only get what you demand, and you only encourage what you tolerate. Is the actual saying. And yes, in my life I found that to be 100% true. If you tolerate your children's behavior, you might as well tell them go ahead and do it. You might as well pat them on their head while they're doing it and tell them you're doing a good job. That's the way it's perceived. So you only get what you demand, and you only encourage what you tolerate. So I'm not, I would say the number one thing that I have a complaint with about Ashes of Creation right now is the cheating, the rampant exploiting, and the fact that the message that they have sent has been whatever. And then he even said that they were going to deal with it when they got back, and they still haven't dealt with it. Yeah, and so it's like, come on, like, this is a real problem. There's a damn Minotaur warrior on the island to the west of Winstead that when you kill it, it just respawns like instantly. Every single time. And also Minotaur warriors, I don't know if you know this, they're bugged. Like after 3 seconds of combat, they stop doing anything. They just stand there and die.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Like if I go there, there's always someone or some group of people just chain killing that. It's a 1-star Minotaur warrior for if you're like level 8 to 17 in that whole range, like it's good enough experience to just sit there and do that because you never ever stop. It's just non-stop, just kill. And it's like they're just doing it like with no impunity, and I'm just like, this, they got to fix that. So I'd like to see that get fixed. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I know we're both so busy. We haven't had a lot of time to do this, especially because we've been playing a lot of Ashes of Creation, which has been awesome.
Yes. Appreciate you having me on, bro. Yeah. I know it is a funny world where I feel like I do about two videos a month, and it is a little bit harder now though. Actually playing Ashes is fantastic, but content creation is harder with it.
Yeah,
so
it's harder for me. It's harder because I can't make the kind of content I want to make yet. So we're still
running a guild. So
yeah. So anyways, thank you for coming on, everybody in YouTube and on Twitch. You should be able to click on this man's name somewhere on the screen because I'm doing Stream Together on Twitch, and on YouTube I tagged him in the title. So if you have not gone over to the Copium Clinic and seen his incredible videos, go do that. And at some point, this game is going to get to the level of complexity where I can start making the guides that I want to make, and my YouTube channel, I will start making YouTube videos again. It is going to happen. Just be patient with me. This man right here is putting out 2 videos a month. So while you're waiting on me, watch his. So,
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And maybe in a couple weeks on Tuesday again, when we have another break, we'll hop on again and talk about what's happened between now and then. So until then, have a good one, y'all. Bye.